welcome to the Coach Me podcast. My name is Nadine Stille, founder of Coach Me and your podcast host. For this week's podcast, I've teamed up with certified entrepreneur and success coach Ingrid Timmermans. Ingrid stands for the full potential of her clients. She will collaborate with them to get them back on track and into the flow of a thriving entrepreneur business. For Ingrid, it's all about getting her clients excited and energized so their new business and that all-important money comes in. During her coaching sessions with struggling or exhausted entrepreneurs, Ingrid focuses on helping her clients attract more money by shifting their money mindset, supporting them to make decisions from their intuition to create a flow in their business, building trust in themselves and their leadership skills, and getting them feeling energized by creating a healthy work-life balance. This all leads us to today's episode topic, in which Ingrid shares her top 7 tips to be a successful entrepreneur. We learn how to get out of our own head by changing our mindset, stop procrastinating, and becoming an energized entrepreneur with a thriving business. We get to experience a live visualization that involves Oprah, and we also cover Ingrid's 7 tips to be a successful entrepreneur, no matter what stage our business is in. Please note that Ingrid shared her top tips in a downloadable document, which you can find in the show notes. Let's listen in. We're live. Yay. Hi, Ingrid.
Hey, Nadine.
Welcome again.
Yeah.
Woo-hee. Yeah. So for those of you who listen in for, our regular listeners, you might know that we've had Ingrid on the podcast before talking about saboteuring your own success or your own life. And I definitely recommend checking that out once you've listened to this one, to this upcoming podcast. But for those of you who are new to the podcast, maybe Ingrid, you can let us know who you are, what you're up to, and what has happened in the last year since we talked.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, where to start?
Right?
I'm Ingrid, and I am originally from the Netherlands. I came here 5 years ago with 2 suitcases in my hand and nothing else. And I built my life here together with my fiancé, Tim. And we're just about to move to the island. So we are definitely living our best lives here in Vancouver. So what happened in the past year? It's been a whirlwind. I have done my training in coaching, completed. So I'm a certified coach now, which means that I created over 100 hours of coaching. I've learned so many tools that I can help people with, and those tools are amazing to see. And you'll get some tools today as well, actually. So that's exciting. And it's been an amazing year. I've transitioned from personal coaching into business coaching and entrepreneur coaching because I was feeling that there was lacking motivation and thrive for people and making decisions from a leadership perspective in small business owners. So I am super passionate about this new journey that I'm embarking. It feels like me and my two suitcases are ready to help you and to create that business that you really want.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of boxes and suitcases in your life right now with the move.
Well, you can't see it, but it's only boxes right now.
Yeah, so by the time people listen in, you might have already moved away from Vancouver to Vancouver Island. That's the island you were referring to. Someone, in case someone doesn't quite know where that is, and it's totally different over there, right? It's more wilderness.
More wilderness, more bears for the people that listen to my previous podcast.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward for a slower lifestyle and more peace. And our home is just 1 block from the ocean, so we're close to nature.
Yeah. And congratulations on your successes of passing the certification. I know you said there's a lot of experience went into it with the coaching hours that you have, but there's also a lot of like not just the coaching experience that went into it, but also the coaching training that went into it for quite a while. So congratulations on getting there.
Yeah, we celebrate big.
Yes. Okay, so you've already touched a bit on the topic what we're going to talk about today, which is 7 tips to be a successful entrepreneur, to be a thriving, successful entrepreneur. And you've already said there's quite a lot of people out there who, want to be an entrepreneur, but then find it really tough. Why are you so passionate about this topic, and why is it so important to you?
So when I was in certification, so one of the rules were that you had to have 5 clients in order to go into the program. So I did my program at CTI. And I remember that time that I was very anxious, and I was like, oh, I need to have these clients right now. And if I don't have that, I can't complete my program, and I need to have 100 hours. And it felt so restraining. And at that time, I felt like I knew I was on the right path, and I knew I did my things right. Like I had systems in place and all that kind of stuff, but still it wasn't flowing. And when I look around me and see my fellow coaches and other small businesses, I see that so much again and again, that we are so passionate about what we are doing, and yet it feels sometimes such struggle. And so when I was in that mindset, that I didn't get clients. I was only busy fixing my website and creating business cards and all the random, or the things that doesn't really matter at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's what keeps you busy.
Exactly. You feel like you're making steps towards a successful business, but the only way to create a successful business is to start meeting clients, potential clients, going out there, showing your face, telling the world what you love to do. And I felt like I was not wasting my time, but I was procrastinating going out there and telling people what I'm so good at and showing that. So I hired my own coach. And together with her, I completely shifted my mindset. Before it was a need, right? It was like, oh, I need to have clients, or else I won't be successful, or else I can't go into certification program, or I won't earn my money from it. I can't live off it. I changed it to, you know what? I am here to help people. I am here to make their life better. And people that are seeking for that, I will attract those people. And coming from that mindset, that was a sort of an energy shift. Everybody around me felt that energy of needing, and nobody wants to be around that energy. But when you are coming from an energy saying, this is what I have to offer, and this is how I can help you achieving the next goals and the next steps in your life, and really be confident with that, it went so fast. I signed up 10 clients in 2 months, I believe. I had my $5,000 so fast. I earned it so fast because I was living on a purpose and I was doing what I love to do. I knew how to attract that and how to sell myself. And yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about this topic.
Yeah, and the passion actually shows through, right? So it's like, even when you're talking like that now, and you get excited, you hear it in people's voices, and that's what we want that's what we as coaches work towards as well, right? When we're with our own clients, it's like, yeah, you want that passion and that lightness and that success there. And if it's not there, you can totally hear it. You don't have to say much. You can also see it. And everyone can experience that, out there. So yeah, totally. Go towards where the passion is. So, and I guess now that you've experienced it, it's like, people here.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's what I love that you say, that you look for, as a coach, you look for that. We say like the glow, that energy, and it's not only in coaching, but it's also as a business owner, like I'm going to say it again, but if you create from that energy that you love your job so much, that you are, you really, really believe in what you are doing, then it will fold itself out. Of course, you have to do some work. Of course, you have to do a lot of work properly, but it's a whole different energy than thinking like, oh, I need to have clients, I need to have business, I won't reach my target.
Yeah, it's all this, I need to, I have to, I should be doing this, and
exactly. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So you've mentioned a few times now that people need to have a different kind of mindset. Can you elaborate a bit more around that?
Yeah. So with business and mindset, I see so many people around us that are creating a business from structure. So for example, I would like to first create a website, and then I would create my business cards, and then I would create maybe an Instagram account or Facebook, and then I post so many times. And that's great. But if you don't truly believe in yourself, if you're not truly confident, those processes and those systems won't work, because every single time you'll hit a block, you'll hit something. So I believe that it's 90% mindset, what you need to have in your business. And that requires a lot of work. And 10% systems in place. So what I do as a coach, I will give you tips and tricks on how I created my systems and what worked for my business, but I will mainly focusing on the mindset of entrepreneurs and to make those decisions from that energy, that glow and passion and that self-confidence.
Yeah, and I can totally, when you said, oh, you're going to hit roadblocks, yes, especially as an entrepreneur, they're going to be there, and plenty of them. But it's a matter of like, okay, how do you deal with it every time this comes up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also going really deep, like what is it that you're hitting that roadblock? And what is it that the next time that you're getting to the same roadblock, what are tools that you go either around it or through it? And that's so important to make this really solid foundation of that mindset that can help you further. And I remember one thing that I wanted to say to you, that there are so many people that are saying, I have my morning routine and I journal every day about my mindset. And although journaling is a big part of mindset creating and awareness, that's not your mindset. Your mindset is truly, truly believing in yourself and in your business and being really confident. And a tool for that is journaling, is going for a run, is self-care, whatever that means. But you really need to believe in your business, and you really need to be having this insane vision of yourself. Like maybe you've reached hundreds of thousands of people, and maybe you changed their lives, or maybe you earned millions and millions of dollars. That is the vision that I want you to have, to create like from a big, big space.
Yeah. If you dream small, then that's probably what you're going to get. If you aim high, then this is the work you put in. You put in the work for that huge goal, right?
And it is scary to dream really, really big, right? There's this fear of, what if I don't reach it? What if I turn out to be disappointed in myself? What if I don't like it? All this stuff, you know what I mean? And that's mindset. It's creating that vision and go around it and slowly build yourself up in your business.
Yeah, and I guess it also has to come from a place from authenticity, right? So it's still you in all of this.
Absolutely.
It's not, so because it has, and in that it's going to be sustainable long term. But it's this. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. One other thing when you said about roadblocks, it's like you were saying, oh, what, you're as a coach helping people to work out, do you need to go through the roadblock or around it? And what came up for me was, maybe what makes it a roadblock in the first place? Why do you think this is an issue? Right? Yeah. If something comes up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's lots of different things that you can explore. So, oh my gosh, we can talk about roadblocks forever.
Forever. We can
like building
podcast about that.
Okay. So how can people create that intense feeling that, that really gives them the confidence and belief in themselves? How do they get there?
Yeah, so that's the 7 tips, right? So let's dive into it. It's so exciting. I cannot wait to share this with everybody. And I strongly, strongly, strongly believe that if you follow these tips regularly on a regular basis, that you will create yourself and build that self up. And while I'm saying this, my fiance Tim is just coming back from a run. So he is building on his own successful life there.
That's great. He's featured in this podcast. Brilliant. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim. And he's probably gonna run into the bedroom and hide for another hour.
Great. So there are 7 tips. We're going to start with tip number 1, then work our way through it. And I believe there's going to be a document for people to download later on as well.
Absolutely.
And we'll pop it in the show notes. So watch out for this one, everyone listening in. So bring it on.
Okay,
tip number 1.
Tip number 1. So tip number 1 is actually a question for you. And I start this off with my clients as well. And imagine yourself a year from now and ask yourself if you would be happy if you're still in the same place. And I would like to invite you to really stand still and really be present with the feeling that comes up when you think yourself exactly a year from now, exactly where you are right at this moment and what feeling comes up. Oftentimes, people are realizing, by a year from now, I hope that, my business grew that much %, or I'm not sure if I can sustain it like this. Or in a year from now, I hope that I have so much more free time to spend with my family. So it's really important to know where you are right now and what is important to you to change.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Starting off in true coaching style with the question.
Yeah.
Tip number 1.
Tip number 1. Let's go into tip number 2, though.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this technique I use, and if you coach with me before, if you were my client, you know that this is my number 1 tool that I always do with my clients, and so much fun. So for this one, I invite you, the listener, to really listen to the story that I'm telling and grab a pen and paper or the sheet that we have and write with us. So pretend that you are you, but not 10 years from now. And you have been with your business and with everything that you've been doing with so much passion. You've been a symbol for the whole nation, for the whole world. Everybody is watching you. You've been featured in so many magazines. Everybody wants to learn from you. And then one day, this phone comes in, and it's Oprah. And she says, you know what? Whatever you are doing is so inspirational. We'd like to interview you. Would you like to come for an interview? And of course, you're so thrilled and excited, but maybe also a little bit scared. But you're going to go through it. You're going to go into this interview. So the day from the interview, this is going to be broadcasted around the whole world. So everybody will look with you and will look at the show and learn from your experiences. And you are dressed in the most beautiful clothes, and you've done your hair and maybe your makeup if you're female, if you're male, maybe as well. Who knows? Anyway, the time is there and Oprah sits there and you take a deep breath and you walk on the stage. There's this huge, comfortable chair sitting there and she invites you to sit. And Oprah starts to talk to you and says to you, welcome to the show. And we are so excited that you're here. And thank you for sharing all your wisdom that you have. And so for the listener, right now, what I would like you to do is write down the question or have the sheet in front of you and write down the answers that you feel is applicable to this question. So the first question is that Oprah asks you, how do you serve people? And then she is asking, what services are you providing? And then she goes a little bit deeper. How are people feeling after they work with you? How do they walk away from your service? And then you love to tell about what you're doing and with so much passion and enthusiasm, you're sharing what you have to offer in this world. And then Oprah says, this is amazing. And you were not alone creating this. You had an amazing team around you. So can you tell us a little bit about the people that you've hired to help you? And so she's asked, what is your team like? And what kind of employees do you like to work with? What are their traits? How do they react on certain things? And then she's asking, what are the tasks that you are still doing as this massive entrepreneur? And what is something that you hire for? And then she goes even deeper. She asks, what was the very first thing you hired somebody for? And you tell her about the team and how amazingly supportive you are and how you feel like your business is running through this amazing group of people and that you're here to steer them and guide them, but they have their own uniqueness that they bring into the business. And then she goes into the numbers of things. She asks very cheeky and very direct, what is your revenue like? And then she asks you, on what do you spend your money? What do you like to buy for yourself? What do you like to buy for your loved ones? And how do you contribute to the world? And you tell her whatever feels good for you to spend money on. And you tell it with so much pride because you know that everything you earn, you get to divide again that money into causes that you truly believe in. And then she goes into your personal life. So what house do you live in? And where do you live? What does the surrounding look like? And what do you do in your free time? Where do you go for holidays? And what do you do on your holidays? And who is with you? And then you tell her about your amazing life that you built from scratch, that you built from the beginning. And you tell her about all the things that you've created for yourself and for your family. And you created for spending more time with everybody that you love. And then she's thanking you for coming here. But then before you go, she just has one last question. And she asks, if you could give us one tip on how to start, what would you like to give to us? So in one sentence, you're going to give a tip to the audience on where to start building their own business. All right, so that was the exercise that I always do with my clients. And I want you to notice what feeling you have right at this moment. How do you feel? And where does it located in your body? How are you sitting? Are you sitting straight? Are you sitting maybe slouched? How does it feel? And what's your posture like? I already asked that a little bit, but what's your posture? And the reason I'm asking is that your body is actually telling you so many things, and we need to stay connected to it in order to make sure that whatever you're feeling, it's true, you know? So the feeling that you have right now, the posture that you have right now, this is your 2.0 self. So this is your highest self, or your inner leader, how we sometimes call it in coaching. And you can give it a name. You can give it Superwoman or whatever comes up for you. Mine is Ingrid 2.0.
Right. Wow. It's a really powerful visualization exercise. And wow, I can't wait to hear what comes up for people. All these dreams that this is going to, uncover.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Ingrid 2.0. That's how I'm going to introduce you. From now on, going forward. Wow.
What is your inner leader like?
Actually, mine is me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done something similar. I don't think I've given myself a name, but it's like it would be me. It's like my own. I'm my own heroine.
Exactly.
From books that I read. It's like, yeah, me, but woohoo out there.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So, there's a lot even to take in from that exercise, right?
Yeah.
A lot to learn and reflect on as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So that was point number 2. Anything else to say on that before we move on?
Point number 2 is a pretty long point. The other ones will be much shorter. Don't worry.
It's very impactful though. Wow. Thank you. So point number 3 then.
Point number 3. Mm-hmm. Always connect with your 2.0 or your inner leader or your higher self. So always connect with every single day. And reason that people are journaling in the morning or having a morning routine is so they can connect with their higher self or Ingrid 2.0 or inner leader, however you want to call it. And I can share it. For me personally, it's running. So I'd like to run. And then I connect with her. So I just think about like, what would Ingrid 2.0 do today? Or how would she feel today? And I really connect to that vision as well, like where I want to be in. And I see that vision every day in my head, and I know exactly that I'm on the right path and I'm taking the right steps to do it. So for the listeners, take something that's really easy for you to do. So for other people, it might be journaling, or it might be just drinking coffee and sit in silence. It's up to you. But the first thing that I invite you to do every morning is connect to your higher self.
Good way to set the intentions of going forward to that day as well, right? And to tap into that energy that you want to take with you along the day. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you make it a practice, you'll see that you are. Over time, it will become much more easier and easier to connect with that energy.
Actually, what would just come up from me is that it's a really good way to tap into that mindset change as well, because there's a difference between, I have so many meetings and I don't know how I'm going to do everything, versus tapping into that energy of feeling great and wanting to thrive in that way, right? It's like, how are you setting yourself up for the day? And again, it's a conscious mindset shift.
Exactly. And that's why you do these 7 steps. It's coming from one mindset that you are in right now, probably, into something that you actually are growing in, and to choose your energy from.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Move on to tip number 4. Are we coming up to 4 now? Yeah.
It's getting to know your limiting beliefs. So in coaching, we call it sometimes your saboteurs, but really getting to know what roadblocks comes up for you. And so I've just written out a few that comes up for most entrepreneurs, and maybe there's 1 or 2 that reflects you. And maybe you can sit down for yourself and think about roadblocks that comes up for you. So roadblocks that comes up for many entrepreneurs is, I love this one.
There was a deep breath there. I was like, oh, roadblocks.
We're almost all beginners. Every person that's like, oh, I'm going to start my own business. And boom. And then they fall into this roadblock. And this roadblock is, I don't have enough experience yet. How am I supposed to sell myself if I have no clue of what I'm doing? So I also created a sort of reframe next to it so that you know how to reframe those thoughts. So a reframe of these thoughts could be, I'm allowing to learn while I'm growing. And I give people my full service and attention, and that's worth so unbelievable much money. And then another roadblock could be that you are really conscious of what people are thinking of you, especially when you are a first-time starter and you put yourself out there. It's pretty scary because you feel like everybody's watching you, all your ex-colleagues or your family members or your friends, maybe ex-lovers, everybody's looking at you. So it is like the roadblock of what will people actually think of me? And then a reframe for this could be that judging comes from a lacking mindset, a scarcity mindset. And you don't have to spend your energy on that. That's their problem. They have that mindset. And plus, if people are judging you, that means that your word is getting out there. So,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then another limiting belief would be, I need to have something perfect before I get it out. And this is something that people maybe don't realize or do realize, but when you start your own business, it doesn't need to be perfect. You get to be a beginner and learn from that. And some people are actually postponing or procrastinating when they think it needs to be perfect. But the thing is, if you're procrastinating, you lose so much time and energy every time you think about the one thing that you should be doing, right? Imagine when you do it right now, get it out there as imperfect as it is, and then you're done with it. And you are able to give other things that energy, that loving, spiriting, like fire, kicking ass energy that you want to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is, and this is so big, especially in coaching, because a lot of coaches, they don't want to sell themselves. They want to help people. And so they have this image or this belief around themselves that they don't know how to sell themselves. And I've already talked about this. You don't need to sell yourself. You don't need to sell your service. You're here to help people, and that's worth a lot of money. Because imagine, people are willing to spend $1,300 on a phone that they use every day, but yet they're not willing to spend money on their own development and what will help them in the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, limiting belief that comes up for so many people is comparison themselves to other people in the same business, and that they are doing so much better or created so many more things or having so much more revenue, all that kind of stuff. And it shuts people down. They're like, oh, shit, I wish I was that far. And that is my competitor. The way to see that when you see other people is to celebrate that. Because you know what? If that person can do it, you can do it too. And you are on your own journey, so you don't have to be on that point that they are.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you only get to see whatever they want you to see.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you know that they're not, they might be driving their fancy car or going places, but they might be in debt or, totally stressed out and can't sleep because of it. You just don't know. You always get to see what,
and I love
the full picture.
And I love that people compare it to people that are further themselves, and they are not comparing themselves from people that are just starting out. Mm-hmm. And how would it be if you look at yourself, and maybe not comparing, but look at yourself from where you came from and compare yourself to that and see how much you already learned and grow.
Yeah. Or instead of let it stifle you, turn it into, say, an inspiration. Hey, this is who I want to be like, rather than, oh, I'm never going to be that good, or they're doing all these things. And
there has to be it right now.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, seriously, I dare any entrepreneur who's never had any of these things that you just said, this mindset. So it's like, yeah, it sounds fairly familiar. And then it's like, yeah, it's not, very helpful to linger in those spheres, right? So those limiting beliefs that might come up, and then acknowledge them and work through them with a coach.
You coach, or maybe alone, maybe you acknowledge your limiting beliefs and you choose not to them, or you choose to reframe them.
It can be very creative, the reframing, right? Okay, so those were 4 points of your 7 on how to be a successful entrepreneur. 2 more to go.
Number 5.
Oh, no. That was number 4 out of 7, and 2 more to go. Well, clearly, I have to go back to school. Okay.
2 more to go. That's so funny. Yeah. So number 5, and we have 3 more to go. So step number 5 is choose from your higher self every single decision. And it can be really small. It can be, what kind of coffee do I want today? What would your higher self choose? It can also be, do I want to work with that person? So a lacking mindset would say, yes, I need the money right now, so let's work with that one. Chop, chop, let's get on. And your higher self would probably say to you, you don't need their business if it doesn't align with you, if you don't get that feeling of, can help them, it really can help them. And so people are getting to notice that energy that you have, that higher self, that, and that will be attractive to people. That will be attractive to either your clients or the business that you're selling, because you are so passionate about what you're doing, and you believe so much in yourself, and you're coming from that 2.0 or higher self every single step in your life. You will build it up so big that you're gonna grow into that life.
Yeah, and it's like all the past few steps that we've been through really just highlight how important that visualization exercise was that you thought about in step, or that you talked us through in step 2, right? So really take the time and, put in some efforts to really kind of, I guess, carve out what that life is like that you envision.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the more details you have, the better, the easier it will be to connect to that higher self, that vision that you have for yourself. So take a lot of time to map that out, to really explore every single bit of your life, how you would like to live, and in your business, how that looks like.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Great. And next step.
Number 6. Yeah. We have to go. So number 6. Letting go of results.
Yeah.
Without letting go of your goals. So you set probably for yourself a few goals for yourself, that you want to have so many clients by that not month, or you want to reach that revenue by that month. And it's really good to have those goals, and those goals need to be really clear and scary for yourself. So you want to go into that. However, imagine you are reaching that month that you set your goal in, and you're not reaching your target. And that's the art of letting go right then. Because if you're not letting go, you're creating again your scarcity mindset. You're creating again, oh, I need those 5 clients, else I won't reach my goal. Instead of that, I invite you to connect to the feeling that you want to have at the end of that period of time. So the feeling can be feeling accomplished, feeling good about your business, feeling in a flow, feeling on purpose, having more time and energy to spend with your family. So connect with that goal instead of the hard number goal. Of course, you want to have that, but that's something that you want to let go of, and not be overly attached to it.
Mm-hmm. It totally makes sense, because it can easily also turn into this all or nothing. Well, I didn't do this, so, I'm not going to do well the next month either. And then you just don't, give it your best. So, and, there's always something that can happen that makes you not reach your results right there and then. So take it as a learning opportunity as well, right? So it's like, hey, how can you turn that into something more positive? Yeah. Okay, cool. Last step.
Step number 7.
I think that's my favorite. Is it going to be the favorite?
I guess so. It's my favorite all time. So I guess, and I think it's everybody's favorite all times. But it's to celebrate every small step and celebrate every single thing. Not only the things that you have accomplished, but say, for example, hooray, I sent out that email. Celebrate it. Or celebrate that you are able to take your Monday morning off because you feel tired from the weekend. Celebrate that you have your first client and the client is giving you $5 an hour. Celebrate it big and make it really big for that, because we want to create a momentum that you feel good about what you're doing, that you have the thriving energy. And when you celebrate and acknowledge what you are doing and be grateful for what it all is bringing, for what it's all bringing to you, you're creating yourself that energy, that thriving energy that will slowly and steady will grow you in that business that you desire.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the last thing you celebrated?
My last thing that I celebrated. Let's see. That's
right back at you.
That's a really good one. I celebrated that we not signed our house. We didn't celebrate that step, but we celebrated a step before. We celebrated that we found a house that we felt really, really good in. So that goes to show that I'm not only celebrating my the written stuff, the certification or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm celebrating the process. So that's celebration.
Super important. Super important. The process.
What did you celebrate last, Nadine?
Oh my gosh. Probably has something to do with my baby son, but I don't quite know. There's like so many new things happening every single day. It's quite amazing. But and it's not a but when I was preparing for something that's going to come up on the Coach Me Instagram channel in the next few days, I came across a screenshot that I took of the very first time I pressed send and I submitted the first podcast recording to I don't know which podcast provider it was, but you have to submit, you have to press that button. And we took a screenshot of it and kept it in a folder. So when you said, celebrate sending that email, it's like, yep, I know.
Exactly. You know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So what's one thing that you're going to celebrate in the future, what you didn't celebrate before?
Ooh. Good one. That's business. I don't know. Business related. There's lots of different things. More in I know we just said we're going global, but I wanted to really stay, and I'd like to get more international coaches on board who are based on different continents right now, and maybe do coaching in different languages, and to have a lot more people just come in and tap into coaching, because it's amazing. It's empowering. People need to do more of coaching, and that's not because we're selling it. It's because exactly what you just said. We so believe in this being the right thing. That's it's that service, that passion that comes through. We've been through it ourselves, being coached, and we've seen it over and over again, the effect that it can have on people. So it's why wouldn't you? It's there, go for it, right? So yeah, but it's actually a good question to ponder over. I think I might do a bit of journaling on that. Take you up on it. It's a good inquiry question. So something that, takes
I'm
you.
curious if you want, and
Yeah.
I'm curious. Let me know.
Okay, will do. I know where you work. So that was the step number 7. Can you just go quickly through them again?
Absolutely. So step number 1 is ask yourself how you would feel if you are at the exact same point in 1 year from now. Step number 2 is build your 2.0 self. And that was the Oprah interview. So build that vision big and really detailed. Step number 3 was connect with your higher self or 2.0 self every day during the morning. Step number 4 is to know your limiting beliefs. Step number 5 is to choose from your 2.0 self or your higher self every single decision. What would that person look like? What would it do? Step number 6 is letting go of results. Step number 7 is to celebrate everything, all little details. Yeah.
Let's celebrate those 7 steps right now. Yay! Okay.
Something I celebrate, and this is what I always did when I was younger. I gave myself a high five. So I did self 5, and it goes like this. It looks super dorky, but it makes me feel so good. So I imagine people doing this now, high five, and then just high five.
So for people who are listening in but don't see the video on YouTube, what did you just do?
I just clap my hands above my head, and it looks very dorky, but it makes me feel so
high five. Yeah, great. A selfie high five. I like it. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's nearly the end of our podcast interview. But for this season, it's like there's no but it's nearly the end.
I like all those buts in your...
Yeah. And we still have 3 questions. That's the encore this season, where I'm going to ask the same questions to everyone. And the first one is a book recommendation you may have for people listening in.
Absolutely. So for people listening in, I'll just say it. And for people watching, this is the book. This is called You Are a Badass in Making Money. And it's by Jen Sincero. And Nadine is reaching out in her massive book pile, and she's out exactly the same copy.
I did not know that you were going to have that book.
That's so funny. That's so funny. It's a great book. The way that I love it is it's all about money mindset. And I feel like there's such stigma around like creating money for yourself. So this has been a huge money mindset shift for me. And I'm sure that it will create so much more awareness for all our entrepreneurs.
Great. You Okay, next question. What's one item on your bucket list?
To adopt a puppy. And that's something that's probably going to happen very, very soon. But that's also one of the reasons that we are moving to the island, is to create more space in our lives, literally. To puppy. So we will post a picture of that puppy when he or she arrives.
Yeah, beautiful. Wee. You're going to be parents.
Love it.
Okay, last question. What makes you dance?
Oh man, what makes me dance? Serious answer would be a very successful business with a business owner that's really into their own passion and purpose and knows exactly why they're doing it. A less serious thing would be whenever Tim and I hear good news, we hug each other and then we jump in the air like that. So it's with every single news that we hear that we're doing and celebrating it together. So I would say I dance with every small victory, and loved ones.
Yeah, you have your own little happy dance.
Yeah, absolutely. My own high five and my own little happy dance.
That's the way to go. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much for coming on today and talking with us, or talking to me, and having those beautiful, tips for us.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming on, sharing your tips. And it's like, bring it out there. There's good vibes, and there's space for everyone out there.
Yeah, and I say this always at the end of my post or at the end of the emails, but I truly believe in you as a listener. I truly that you are here to create this massive change in the world, and go get that out there.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. And on that note, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if any of this resonated with you as an entrepreneur and you'd like a deep dive into these topics to see what's possible for you, I'm inviting you to book an initial free coaching chat with Ingrid. Simply go to coachme.global/book to request your session with Ingrid. That's coachme.global/book. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, stay curious.